All right. Welcome once again to Just a Word on this, our weekly Shabbat teaching. Welcome to you if you're joining us for the first time, and if you're a return visitor, thank you for coming back. Yeah. We do this every Shabbat, all right? Please, if you like, please like our video. If you care, please share. Comment would be welcome, and subscribe if you have not yet subscribed to our channel. All right. So this is Khazak Aliyahu Yasharal on behalf of the Just a Word family. All right. Co-presenting with me will be Shamuel Fabi and possibly Clevon Duaney. Okay. All right. As you can see from up top and at the side, we are going to be speaking about the poor. We are going to be speaking today about the poor because we touched on this several times, a couple times during our past two broadcasts, and like the Most High was steering me to pay attention to it because it has very, very great benefits looking into this. All right? Because the world has been taught a gospel of the rich, or a gospel of the well-to-do, or a gospel of the prosperity. And the true good news has been hidden by religion. And understanding the true good news, the poor, the gospel of the poor, to understand it, it brings out the fallacy of Christianity, the fallacy of teaching and preaching to us that God wants you to be prosperous, and that prosperous there is linked to financial wealth. And that if you're blessed, the blessing is manifested in the material possessions that you have. And so all of us have an inkling of trying to seek materialism because we think that materialism is it. Yes, we're not blessed if things are not manifest. If we are struggling and can hardly find this or that, we tend to feel as if something is wrong. But we're going to see that this is nothing but a deception from the enemy. And that's one aspect of it. Another aspect of it is the false, the people who say they are Jews and are not. The converts to Judaism who are claiming to be the literal blood people of the book. Because the importance of the true gospel, the importance of understanding the true gospel is that the importance of understanding the true gospel is that it will show that it's not those people in the land called Israel could never be the true people of the book, because these people are among the richest people in the world. These people literally control the world. And these people are now being blessed. And the end time prophecies is for a people who are afflicted and poor, of people who are not, have not yet been gathered, who are scattered to the four corners of the earth. So we're going to see that the gospel, they do not match the gospel. So that, of course, will kill two birds already with one stone. Because these people are now getting their blessings. Even though now that we are being delivered, the time of the Gentiles is over, we see them start, it seems as if their persecution has started with that war that is going on over there. I don't know where it will end up. But anyway, they have been blessed because people will say, oh, Israel is blessed. What nation in this earth has been blessed like Israel? Come on. You have been blessed. The British have been blessed. The Americans have been blessed. The Russians have been blessed. The Chinese have been blessed. I can tell you a whole host of people. All entire Europe has been blessed. Because this is the time for Israel to be in captivity. So you all are being blessed. So you are being blessed along with the Gentiles, along with the other nations. And then you are claiming that nation is because you're Israel. No, it is because you are the other nations. Because now that we are in captivity, the other nations are blessed and you are the other nations. People in that place called Israel, calling yourselves Israelites. Yes? But another very important aspect of this, understanding the gospel, the good news of the poor, is to understand why we must deny ourselves. Because Babylon, don't get this wrong, Babylon has programmed us to believe. Babylon has programmed us to believe that we have to chase wealth. From we were born, going to school. School is all about having been programmed. You do well in school, you find a good job, you'll be able to make money, you're able to get things for yourself, you're able to take care of your family. That is the program. So we are still, as believers, when we come out, sorry to say, most of us are still on the same program. We are not willing to let go of the world. The love of the world is still in us. So we find it hard to think about falling to a lower estate than we were before. We think it something a shame to fall from where we were because that is how society is structured. If you fall off financially from anywhere you are, people look down on you. They speak about you behind their back derogatorily. Yes, it's a shame to fall from where you are. So we're going to see the true gospel. We're going to see that it's not a shame. And we're going to see that you will more likely be happy when you are falling off. Yes, it's the opposite. And this is what we're going to show today. So people can feel comfortable when we say deny self. People can feel comfortable knowing of what the true gospel is and what the Father is all about. It's not as we think. It's the opposite. It's not. This is not the good news of the rich. It's the good news of the poor and afflicted. So when you come to the Most High, you are to deny yourself. You are to give up on everything in this world. Yes, you are to be willing to live in the lowest estate, which is why sometimes the Most High brings us down. He has to bring us down because we refuse to reject. We refuse to do it ourselves, so he has to break us down. And when he breaks us down, we break down, thinking it's the worst thing in the world. Oh, panic. Oh, my world has been taken away. We have to greet it with a smile. All right? So we're going to look into the poor, the gospel. The poor and the gospel of salvation. How whether you are rich or poor affects your salvation. All right? Oh boy, I didn't start it on the radio. All right, so I'll have to give the intro on the radio quickly. Okay. Welcome to our broadcast here on Just the Word Radio. Okay. Today we're going to be looking at how whether you are rich or poor affects your salvation. The poor and the gospel of salvation. Okay. All right. First of all, we're going to look at two attributes of end time, of a true end time believer. Two main attributes. And we go to the end to show what we must be in the end so we can see what pertains to us. So we go to Zion, Revelation 13:10. You have a whole lot of scriptures to go through. I hope we can get through all of this. Revelation 13:10. Read it, please, bro.
Right. Revelation chapter 13, verse 10. He that leadeth into captivity.
Shamuel.
Can you hear me, bro?
He's off or I am off?
No, I am
Anybody hearing me?
We're hearing both of you. We're hearing
Can
both
hear
of
you,
you.
Brother Man. You can also
Hello?
hear Brother Samuel.
Anybody hearing me?
Yes.
Yes.
I can hear both of you.
Oh, I can hear Shamuel. Oh, let me see. Oh, Shamuel.
Yeah, bro.
Oh, my bad. Okay, all right. Go ahead.
All right. Okay, so Revelation chapter 13, verse 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints.
All right, so here's what I want to get. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. We're going to look at two necessary attributes of saints, of the true believers in the end. And it is patience that we looked at yesterday on Just the Word Radio, yesterday morning. Patience and faith. True believer will have patience and he will have faith. What's the other one now? Revelation 14:12. Go, please.
Here's the patience of the saint. Here are they that keep the commandments of yahuwah and the faith of Yahusha.
Patience of the saints and the faith of Yahusha. So they will have patience and faith. All right. And notice it tells us those who have patience will keep the commandments of Allah and the faith of Yahusha. So it's the faith that brings out our patience. Both go hand in hand. Hebrews 6, verse 12. Read, please.
That ye be not slothful, but followers of them who through faith and patience inherit the promises.
So how can we inherit the promises, Shamuel?
Yeah.
How can we inherit the promises?
With faith and patience.
Okay. So two attributes of the end time believers, they will have faith and they will have patience. Two main attributes. Okay, Jacob 1 verse 3. James 1 verse 3. Read, please.
That the trying of your faith worketh patience.
So there's a direct correlation between faith and patience. When faith is tried, it brings forth patience. These are necessary ingredients for a true believer. Faith, which worketh patience. And now to the verse, which is the core of what we are doing here today. And you will hear it several times. By the time you're finished, you should know it by heart. Jacob 2, verse 5.
Hearken, my beloved brethren, hath not yahuwah chosen the poor of this world, rich in faith, and heirs of the kingdom, which he hath promised to them that love him?
Heirs of the kingdom, which he hath promised to them that love him. All right. The poor of this world are rich in faith. And what are the two attributes we said of the end time believers?
Patience and faith.
All right. So if you are rich in faith, then you are going to also be rich in patience.
Patience, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
This is why it is a gospel of the poor and not of the rich. Because the poor are rich in faith. Why? Because the poor does not lean upon his own strength. The poor leans upon their Father. The poor leans upon the Most High. They trust in the Most High. They depend on the Most High. But the rich man trusts in his own strength. A rich man has anything he wants. He gets up today, oh, I feel like buying a new car. All right, let's go down to the dealers and they just pick up what they want. A poor man wants a bicycle. A poor man has to pray and hope and depend on the Most High for the Most High to even give him a bicycle. But it's not that the Most High is hard, but the Most High is building his faith, which worketh patience. So that is how the poor person is perfected. This is the difference between a poor believer and a rich believer. A rich believer leans on his own self. If I can provide for everything for myself, what do I need to have faith in?
Yeah.
Huh? What do I need to have faith? Why do I need the Most High now, Shamuel?
Yeah, no reason. Yeah.
No reason. If I can buy whatever I want, if I can have all the connections in the world, I have my rich friends. So if it is not even something financial that I have to buy, I can get favors from my friends because I'm well connected.
Yeah.
Why do I need faith in the Most High?
It will be very hard for the rich man to submit to
Yes.
allure. Yeah.
Yes.
And yeah.
But the poor man now, he has nothing. No, everywhere he goes, people reject him. He can't get what he wants. Everything is a dream to him. So what does he have to do? He has to depend on the Most High. And when he depends on the Most High, he learns to trust in the Most High and he develops a relationship with the Most High. And so that is why the poor have the edge over the rich. Right? Let's lay a foundation there. So let's see if this gospel is a gospel of the rich man. Job 27, 19 to 22. Job 27. Read it, please.
The rich man shall lie down, but he shall not be gathered. He openeth his eyes, and he is not.
Wow. Verse 20.
Terrors take hold on him as waters. A tempest stealeth him away in the night.
21.
The east wind carrieth him away, and he departeth. And as a storm hurleth him out of his place.
Oh, ouch. Doesn't seem too good for the rich man, does it?
Nope.
So let's test the gospel of the poor man. Lucas 4:18. This is how these people have distorted the gospel. Yeah? They have distorted it with their religions.
With prosperity messages, physical gains.
Yes, that's what's in Lucas 4:18. Read, please.
The Spirit of yahuwah is upon me, because he hath anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor.
Stop. To preach the gospel to who?
The poor.
So the gospel of the kingdom is a gospel to the who?
To the poor.
Oh, I thought it was a rich person's thing, prosperity. The Messiah was anointed to preach the gospel or the good news to the poor. Not to everyone, not to the rich man, to the poor. Start over, please.
All right. The Spirit of yahuwah is upon me, because he hath anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He hath sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to preach deliverance to the captives, and recovering of sight to the blind, to set at liberty them that are bruised.
All right. So we see all of these attributes are people who are either poor and needy, or poor in terms of spirit,
Yeah.
or mental health, or whatever. But poor in every way, not someone who is comfortable at all. This is what the good news is. Lucas 7:22. Read, please.
Then Yahusha answering said unto them, Go your way, and tell John what things ye have seen and heard, how that the blind see, the lame walk, the lepers are cleansed, the deaf hear, the dead are raised. To the poor the gospel is preached.
And you know which part I want you to repeat. Repeat it, please.
How? Okay, so it says, how that the blind see, the
Oh,
lame. To the
come
poor,
on, Shamuel.
to the poor the gospel is preached.
Thank you. Repeat it, please.
To the poor the gospel is preached.
So it is consistent. The gospel is directed towards the poor. Don't get it twisted, people. Don't let these people fill up their head with their fault. Since we've been coming out with just a word, we have proven almost everything that religion has given us to be false. So what we are doing here, we are actually getting to know yahuwah, getting to know the true good news. So that is why our teachings are independent of any other group, because almost everyone has some form, has allowed themselves to have some form of disease. So we have to keep from these people. Yeah, so we have to keep cleansing ourselves from the lies that they have given us. Lucas 6:20, read please.
Luke chapter 6, verse 20. And he lifted up his eyes on his disciples and said, Blessed be ye poor, for yours is the kingdom of Allua.
Wait, repeat everything from 20, please.
And he lifted up his eyes on his disciples and said, Blessed be ye poor, for yours is the kingdom of Allua.
The kingdom belongs to the poor.
So bro, it makes sense when the disciples were very confused after the Messiah spoke to the rich young ruler. It makes sense because they looked at their situation and they're like, but we don't have anything, you know, we are nobodies. So how are we gonna how are we gonna benefit anything?
Good news is for the poor. It is for the poor because it's a poor. It's a being poor attaches you spiritually to the Most High, because as we said before, you cannot provide for yourself. You have to lift yourself supernaturally. And I can attribute to that because it's when I was brought down to nothing that I turned to the Most High. Had I not been brought down, I would not have been here speaking to you. Yeah?
Yeah.
So it is a good news for the poor. So I'm gonna kill you again with this verse that I'm very sorry, but you're gonna see it a few times. So get used to it. Jacob 2 verse 5. Read again, please.
Hearken, my beloved brethren, hath not Allua chosen the poor of this world, rich in faith, and highest of the kingdom which he hath promised to them that love him?
Samuel, I'm gonna beat you. It's here's.
Here, okay. I took highest. All right.
Yeah.
Here. Cool.
Here's of the kingdom. Here it is again confirming that the kingdom is for the poor. How did we let them bamboozle us and teach us this prosperity thing? Let us chase prosperity.
Because they know we have suffered for a long time through the oppression and our captivity. And so the most vulnerable and most easiest thing they can do is dangle the idea of wealth before us, the carrot, so that we persevere. Yeah.
And those of us who have not learned patience
fall for it.
Will fall for it. And that's where patience is important. That's why faith and patience go together. You have the belief, but you are willing to wait on the promises. All right, so let's look at the meaning of poor as we was talking about poor. And the meaning, the word poor there comes from ani, which means depressed in mind or circumstances. Practically the same as H6035 subjectively and H6041 objectively. It means afflicted, humble, lowly, needy, poor. All right? So when you refer to poor, It can mean poor in mind, poor in spirit, poor in pocket. And even to the point of being needy. All right? So that's poor. Where was I? Now, a very important thing to understand now. Very important thing to understand is that the Most High will choose our estate. Each one of us, get this? Because this poor thing is not, it's wider than that, because we're going to see that even rich people still have an outside chance, depending on where the riches came from and how they handle the riches. But that's another thing. But the Most High chooses our estate. Let me explain. Each one of us have a different socio-economic level, which is the choice of the Most High. So he will make you more comfortable than I more comfortable than he, because that is where he wants us to be. So some of us might be very, very struggling, but that is where he wants us to be. He knows, and he is wise. So we're going to see that he will choose our estate. Sirach, Ecclesiasticus 11 to 22. Sirach 11 to 22. Read, please.
There is one that laboreth and taketh pains and maketh haste, and is so much the more behind.
All right, here's what's happening now. There are some of us try hard to make it and make no headway whatsoever. That's because the Most High doesn't want us where we want to go. And this has been my story. Told my story several times. Oh, I have labored over the years trying to move. Found out that I'm still at square one after several years in an industry where people make it in a few months sometimes. Yeah?
Yeah.
And to me years that I could not move, because that is not where the Most High wanted me. That's why I'm telling you that the Most High chooses each one of us estate, and it's for us to know where he has chosen us. Sometimes we are trying, obviously we're not giving up. It's not working because that's not where he wants you. Verse 12.
Verse 12. Again, there's another that is slow and hath need of help, wanting ability and full of poverty. Yet the eye of yahuwah looketh upon him for good, and set him up from his low estate.
So there's another person who doesn't have any much knowledge of anything. He hasn't as much skill. He's not even trying. And the Most High lifts him up. So you are there struggling, and that person just zoops and just shoots past you. The Most High chooses that person's estate, chooses where that person is. All right? Because he knows that his righteousness can be fulfilled in that person, where that person is. That one that is laboring, his righteousness cannot be fulfilled, or his aims cannot, and will for that person cannot be fulfilled if that person continues in doing what they are doing. All right? It was for me also to see that the Most High wanted me to do a certain thing, and that which what I'm doing, if I found success there, then everything would be a problem. And I know that. So that's what I realized in the long run. All right. Again, there is another that is slow and hath need of help, wanting ability and full of poverty. Yet the eye of Yahuwah looked upon him for good and set him up from his low estate. Verse 13, continue, please.
And lifted up his head from misery, so that many that saw from him is peace over all thee.
Oh, something is missing.
Yeah.
All right, continue. Prosperity.
Prosperity and adversity, life and death, poverty and riches come of Yahuwah.
All right, you see that?
Yeah.
prosperity and adversity, life and death, poverty and riches come of it. He chooses our estate.
Wow.
So that is why those Khazars or Ashkenazis, whatever they call them, over there in Israel, they were prosperous because the Most High gave them their prosperity while we were in captivity. And that's why America was prosperous, because America was one of the nodes of Babylon. So in order to do the evil, Babylon had to be prosperous. That's just how it is. Verse 15.
Verse 15. Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the law are of yahuwah. Love and the way of good works are from him.
So he also gives the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the Torah. Love and the way of good works are from him. So a lot of us, we have to learn love. When it comes to the Most High, that's how we learn love.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's why a lot of us are changed and we're different after. All right? And a lot of us learn good works from him because we never used to walk in righteousness. We never used to care about the poor or care about our brothers and sisters or helping people. We never used to care. These things we get from the Most High. Verse 16.
Error and darkness had their beginning together with sinners, and evil shall wax old with them that glory therein.
You're confusing. And evil shall wax old with them that glory therein. All right, continue.
The gift of Yahuwah remaineth with the ungodly, and his favor bringeth prosperity forever.
All right. This is a mistranslation. I don't think this is right. Verse 18.
Verse 18. There is that waxes rich by his weariness and
weariness.
Weariness. Okay, weariness, sorry. Weariness and pinching. And this is the portion of his reward. Hey, bro, I think there's a translation. There's some errors in this.
Yeah, in this translation. There is that waxeth rich by his weariness and pinching, and this is a portion of his reward. No, this one is okay. This is what we're explaining is that there are two different types of riches. There are riches that come by self-effort, and there are riches that are given from the Most High. Remember, we just spoke about the riches that were given by the Most High, that the person who's lacking ability and wanting, and then the Most High just pours the riches on him. Yeah. Then this now is the other opposite rich, is the one that spends hours upon hours, and with pinching, meaning stingy. Yeah. And became rich by that way. But it is selling a portion of his reward now. Verse 19 says,
where else he saith, I have found rest, and now will eat continually of my goods. And yet he knoweth not what time shall come upon him, and that he must leave those things to others and die. All
right. So the rich, the riches that come from weariness and pinching and selfishness and wickedness and evil, the rich man thinks that he has finally achieved it. And the Most High says, it's time to take you away. Verse 20. Yeah, Argo, you're saying something?
Isn't it what the Messiah said with regards to, was it a parable or a story he told about the man who says, let me fill up my barn, my store, and then he says, foolish man, your soul will be required of you this evening.
Yes.
This day.
Same thing. Okay. Verse 20.
Be steadfast in thy covenant, and be conversant therein, and wax old in thy work.
In other words, do your thing. Focus on the covenant. Focus on the word. And don't look or envy people who you see prospering around you.
Hallelujah.
Verse 21.
Marvel not at the works of sinners, but trust in Yahuwah, and abide in thy labor. For it is an easy thing in the sight of Yahuwah on the sudden to make a poor man rich.
You see that?
Wow.
So that's why we are saying that it is not impossible for a rich man to enter the kingdom, but how did you get your riches? And how did you use your riches once you've gotten it? Yahuwah has poured riches on you all of a sudden. What do you do with it? Do you go now and go into the company of sinners and the fellow rich people?
Yeah.
Do you ignore the poor, the fatherless, the needy? Yes?
Yeah. And Timothy shows us what to do with riches. The book of Timothy, I'm not sure if it's first or second, but it breaks down those who are blessed of Yahuwah and what to do with that wealth in gaining treasures for them in the kingdom.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so we were verse 22.
Verse 22. The blessing of Yahuwah is in the reward of the godly, and suddenly he maketh his blessing flourish.
So you continue diligently to do what you know you are to do. Don't have your mind on riches. And these are the people the Most High makes rich. You don't have your mind on the riches, he will make you rich. He will suddenly reward you. That's how it is. All right? Some people, he may not reward them because that is how he wants them to be. That's just how it is. All mercies come from him, and all decisions as to who is in which estate belongs to him. All right?
Yeah.
So we were saying it's not totally impossible for those who are prosperous in this world, but how did you get your prosperity? 1 Samuel 2, did you get it from the Most High? 1 Samuel 2, 7-8. Read, please.
Yahuwah maketh poor and maketh rich. He bringeth low and lifteth up.
All right, and maketh rich. So he will make you poor and he will make rich. Yeah?
Yeah.
Many of us can assert to this part, make us poor. When you come to Yahuwah, he brings you down to the ground because it's the only way for you to relearn or to be transformed is to be zeroed out. And when he zeroes you out, then he does his work in you. Whatever the result of the work is depends on you. Ecclesiasticus or Sirach 13:24. Read, please.
Riches are good unto him that hath no sin, and poverty is evil in the mouth of the ungodly.
All right, can you explain this to me, please, Shamuel? Riches are good unto him that hath no sin, as pertains to what we're talking about.
A righteous man cannot flaunt money, all right? He cannot, there is no pride in a righteous man, and so he won't abuse and misuse riches. Rather, he will direct it to the cause of Allah in helping the needy, the broken. But if you give riches to an evil person, certainly you know what to expect. Just as our leaders in the world are showing us what it means for an ungodly person to possess power and wealth.
Yeah, but what it's saying is poverty is evil in the mouth of the unrighteous. What it's saying that when the unrighteous is poor, that is where you get evil. And we see this manifesting today in so-called areas that they call ghetto areas where people are poor and they are ungodly. And this is where you get most of the crime, the drugs, and all of the robbery. All of those evil things come from those places. All right? Yeah. So when you're ungodly, It is evil to be rich and it is evil to be poor.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Proverbs 10:22.
So bro, in other words, when the ungodly are rich, it is a problem. And when they are poor as well, it's a problem as well.
Yes.
All right.
So ungodliness in general is just one huge problem.
All right.
Proverbs 10:24. Read, please.
The fear of the wicked, it shall come upon him, but the desire of the righteous shall be granted.
Proverbs 10:22. It's 22, sorry.
The blessing
Read,
of
please.
Yahuwah, it maketh rich, and he addeth no sorrow with it.
All right, this is what we're telling you now. That the Messiah says, how hardly it is for a rich man to enter the kingdom. But there are those that the Most High makes rich. This is the difference. The blessing of Yahuwah, it maketh rich, and he addeth no sorrow with it. When he blesses you with richness, no sorrow comes with it. But when the rich man makes himself rich, there was a song that was popular a few years ago in Jamaica, several years ago. The poor man lives in a shack. A rich man lives in a heart attack. Poor man lives in a shack. The rich man lives in a heart attack.
Yeah.
Because the rich man, there is so much sorrow with the rich man's money and so much stress that the rich are so likely to die from stress. The rich man, when he gets into trouble with his money or he sees that he's going to lose his money, a rich man often commits suicide.
Yeah.
Yeah? Sorrow with his money. But when the Most High makes you rich, there is no sorrow with it. All right. Psalm 112. It is, remember our topic, it's not totally impossible for the rich to enter the kingdom. Psalm 112.
Psalm 1, verse 12.
Psalm 112. So we're going to see it's a gospel for the poor, but these rich would have been poor and brought up by the Most High in his time. Psalm 112, verse 1.
Praise ye Yahuwah. Blessed is the man that feareth Yahuwah, that delighteth greatly in his commandments.
So this is the person that we're talking about now. The person who fears Yahuwah and delights in his commandments. These are righteous people we're talking about. All right? Not the unrighteous. Verse 2.
His seed shall be mighty upon earth. The generation of the upright shall be blessed.
Verse 3.
Wealth and riches shall be in his house, and his righteousness endureth forever.
So the question is now that we ask ourselves, why is this not happening to me? Why is this not happening to me? Why is this not happening to us, Shamuel?
Because Yahuwah decides which estates to give to who.
Why is it not happening to us at this time? I should have said.
Oh, at this time.
Yeah.
To lead us in terms of into his perfect will, to where he ought us to be, to be yeah. I'm not trying to, I can't even find the words to.
All right, let me just cut it short and tell you. The reason this is not happening to us at this time is because we are in captivity under the curses of the law. Our nation is under the curses of the law. Now, the Messiah has redeemed us from the curses of the law, but our nation is still under the curses. So we still go through. Right, bro?
Yeah.
So he is preparing. Where we are now is preparing for us these wealth and riches in the kingdom. So where you are has a whole lot to do with it. If you are in captivity, a lot of the things that they are saying here was when they were not in captivity. But when we are in captivity, it says, curse shall be your basket and curse shall be your store. And I will make your sky brass and your earth iron. And the stranger that is among you, he shall come up high and you shall go down low. All of these things are what we are under. Yeah? So us coming out now in righteousness, we will be delivered as a nation. So that is why as individuals, we do not yet rise up in this blessing. Verse 4.
Verse 4. Unto the upright there ariseth light in the darkness. He is gracious and full of compassion and righteous.
Continue.
A good man showeth favor and lendeth. He will guide his affairs with discretion.
All right, so this good man here, this man who has wealth, and this goes for any one of us with any form of wealth that we can give. A good man showeth favor and lendeth, he will guide his affairs with discretion. Verse 6.
Surely he shall not be moved forever. The righteous shall be in everlasting remembrance.
So as long as we remain steadfast in our righteousness, we are in everlasting remembrance. The Most High remembers us, even though it may not show. Verse 7.
Yeah, but bro, verse 5. Does that only apply to someone with wealth or everyone?
Everyone.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
Everyone.
All right.
Verse 6. Verse 7, right?
7, yeah. He shall not be afraid of evil tidings. His heart is fixed, trusting in yahuwah.
So all of these things that are coming upon this earth and all of the threats that there are to us, we shall not be afraid of it. If you are in righteousness, we are not afraid of evil tidings because our hearts are fixed, trusting in yahuwah. Because we have faith and patience. Verse 8.
Verse 8. His heart is established. He shall not be afraid until he see his desire upon his enemies.
Continue.
He hath dispersed. He hath given to the poor. His righteousness endureth forever. His own shall be exalted with honor.
This is the importance of giving to the poor. We're going to look at that before we end. All right. His righteousness endureth forever. Verse 10.
The wicked shall see it and be grieved. He shall gnash with his teeth and melt away. The desire of the wicked shall perish.
So the wicked shall not have his way with the righteous. As long as we continue in righteousness, the wicked shall not have his way with the righteous.
Yeah.
Because the Most High's ear is inclined to the poor. Dependency 24, 12 to 15. Read, please.
And if the man be poor, thou shalt not sleep with his pledge.
So if somebody comes with a pledge, all right?
Yeah.
And he is poor, don't let it go over into the next day, because those days they used to pledge their garments. Verse 13.
In any case, thou shalt deliver him the pledge again when the sun goeth down, that he may sleep in his own raiment, and bless thee, and it shall be righteousness unto thee before yahuwah thy Allah.
All right, so if this person comes with a pledge, make sure that you don't keep it overnight, because it is righteousness to yahuwah if you return it. This is the Torah. This is sin. And this spiritually, if a poor man makes a pledge with anything that you know is critical to him, right? A lot of people continue to hold on to the things from the people who make a pledge. People say, okay, I'm going to give you this, and give me $200 and I'll come later. Hold on to this for me. And the person doesn't come, and we see them and we hold on to it. I'm not gonna give you this until you pay the money. This is saying that if it's important to him, you cannot sleep over with it. Verse 14.
Thou shalt not oppress an hired servant that is poor and needy, whether he be of thy brethren or of thy strangers that are in thy land within thy gates.
All right, you see the emphasis on the poor.
Yeah.
Don't oppress the poor and needy.
Dangerous.
Verse 15, and we're going to see how dangerous it is. Verse 15.
At his day thou shalt give him his hire, neither shall the sun go down upon it, for he is poor, and sitteth his heart upon it, lest he cry against thee unto yahuwah, and it be sin unto thee.
All right. And this goes for everything. This, if the man works, you're supposed to pay him right away. Don't hold on to it. Because if you hold on to it and he cries unto Yahuwah, woe be unto you.
Yeah.
Because the Most High he has a heart and eyes for the poor and needy. And shall we say again that the poor is his chosen? James 2:5, I told you you'll be tired of it. Read it again, please.
Hearken, my beloved brethren, hath not Yahuwah chosen the poor of this world, rich in faith, and heirs of the kingdom which he hath promised to them that love him?
They are his chosen. So if you mess with them, you mess with Yahuwah. So that is why when you come to Yahuwah, and we had touched this earlier, that is why when you come to Yahuwah, he will change you to a low estate. Changes you, shifts you down.
Yeah.
We're going to look at it more and more detail now. Sirach 2, verse 1 to 18. Ecclesiasticus 2, verse 1 to 18. Read, please.
My son, if thou come to serve Yahuwah, prepare thy soul for temptation.
Continue.
Set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble.
All right, so see it here, make not haste in time of trouble. What does that spell to? The two attributes, make not haste in time of trouble. Have patience, right?
Faith produces patience, yeah.
All right. And be prepared for temptation. Verse 3.
Verse 3, cleave unto him, and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased in thy last end.
All right, you see that?
Yeah.
When you come to Yahuwah, you are brought low. And it is he who provides the increase. It is with patience, endurance, constantly enduring, faith and patience that you will be increased at your last end. So don't worry, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. Always.
Yeah.
Verse 4.
Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient with when thou art changed to a low estate.
Hey! How many of us need to hear this?
Me. That is my
Me
message.
too. Me too.
Yes. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. He does it to all of us, brings us down.
Yeah.
But the person who endures cheerfully is the person who understands this. The person who doesn't understand it, they're saying, but why am I being brought down? Everybody else is prospering and I'm in my church. And sister this and sister that are prospering and I am.
Yeah.
You get it?
Yeah, bro. Yeah. And in that moment, the enemy gives and brings a whole lot of reasons to make you feel very awful so that you can be hasty, you can make a hasty decision.
Yes. Yes. You lose patience.
Yeah.
So These things are not taught in Christianity. Because this book is banned. This book is said to be apocrypha.
Yeah.
So it is not canonical and it is not inspired. You see the wickedness of these people?
Too wicked. Too wicked. But this is the only way they can be able to save their own need. You see, they use that prosperity passages to justify their wealth. They are getting richer and richer and richer.
Yes.
That is how they do it.
Yes. Yes. So they use it to validate. So these books would really throw out everything. Yeah?
Yeah. Yep.
And here's the reason why you should take it cheerfully. Verse 5.
For gold is tried in the fire, an acceptable man in the furnace of adversity.
You see that?
Yeah.
It's a trying of your
Yep.
faith that works. Patience.
Yeah.
Trying of your faith. So gold is tried in the fire.
Yeah.
And acceptable man. So you can only be acceptable if you go through the furnace of adversity. Now here's the instruction and the encouragement. Verse 6.
Verse 6. Believe in him, and he will help thee. Order thy way aright, and trust in him.
Mm-hmm. That's where you get the faith and the patience. All of this, believe in him, faith and patience. And when you have that faith and patience, then he will just set everything straight in the end. You just have to endure. Yeah, whatever you're going through, just tell yourself it's all going to end. It's just for me to see how it will end. That's it.
Wow.
And believe me, it always has an acceptable end. Whenever these ends come through, even though it might not look so at the beginning sometimes, but in the end, you have to say, when you look back and say, wow, I'm in a better place than I was.
Yeah.
Look at how I looked at it as if this was the end of the world, and look at that now.
Yeah. It always works out. Yeah. Yahuwah
Always.
works out. Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's the Most High who is in charge.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he just wants you to believe. And he just wants you to be steadfast in what you're doing. Verse 7.
Ye that fear Yahuwah, wait for his mercy, and go not aside, lest ye fall.
You see that? If you fear him, wait. So when you're going through hell,
Patience.
yes, and you know in the back of your mind that his mercy is coming. It's coming. His mercy is coming. I'm waiting on his mercy.
Yeah.
Wait on his mercy.
Yeah.
And it says, go not aside. That means do not do anything that is not of Torah.
Yeah.
Do not sin. Don't stress yourself. You hear what it says? Lest ye fall. So if you try the shortcut, hey.
You take matters into your heart, into your hand. Yeah.
Yes.
That's lest ye fall.
Yes.
Yeah.
Verse 8.
Ye that fear Yahuwah, believe him, and your reward shall not fail.
So no matter what we are going through, just believe him. In the end, he will bring you to the right place. And your reward is going to be there waiting on you. Verse 9.
Verse 9, ye that fear Yahuwah, hope for good, and for everlasting joy and mercy.
All right. Continue.
Look at the generations of old, and see, did ever any trust in Yahuwah and was not confounded?
And
Or
was
did any-
confounded.
And was confounded, sorry. Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him?
So you see that? It's saying never ever. If you even go back to the old generations, None did trust in Yahuwah and was confounded, or abiding in his fear and was forsaken.
Yeah.
And he never despised anyone who called upon him. So when we are going through our things, people, especially when we say we are poor and we are struggling and we can't do this and we can't do that, all we have to do is have faith and patience in him. He will not forsake us. We don't have to take matters in our own hand, just trust in him. Verse 11.
For Yahuwah is full of compassion and mercy, long-suffering, and very pitiful, and forgiveth sins, and saveth in time of affliction.
Well, of course, all of this only comes when we are steadfast, patient. If we go into sin, we forget about it. Verse 12.
Woe be to fearful hearts and faint hands, and the sinner that goeth two ways.
So you cannot be fearful or faint. Verse 13.
Woe unto him that is faint-hearted, for he believeth not, therefore shall he not be defended.
You see that? Read it again, please.
Woe unto him that is faint-hearted, for he believeth not, therefore shall he not be defended.
Without faith, it is impossible to please Allah.
Yeah.
All right? Faint-hearted means you're faithless.
Yeah.
All right? If you don't believe, the Most High won't defend you. So when you're going through the tough times, you have to come up with some tough beliefs. Belief that people say, oh, if it was me, I would have given up.
Yeah.
When you come with those tough beliefs, that's when the Most High shows up. Yeah?
Hey. Yeah, that's a whole lot of faith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
14.
Woe unto him, woe unto you that have lost patience. And what will you do when Yahuwah shall visit you?
So we have faith up here, and we have patience here. When Yahuwah visit you, what shall you do?
When you don't have patience. Yeah.
This is serious. Verse 15.
They that fear Yahuwah will not disobey his word, and they that love him will keep his ways.
Okay. So, people are saying that they love, I just love him. I just love God. And they don't want to keep his ways.
Yeah.
Verse 16.
They that fear Yahuwah will seek that which is well, pleasing unto him, which is well pleasing unto him. And they that love him shall be filled with the law.
17.
They that fear Yahuwah will prepare their hearts and humble their souls in his sight.
Continue.
Saying, we will fall into the hands of Yahuwah and not into the hands of man. For us his majesty is, so is his mercy.
All right. So we are looking at the fact that when you come to Yahuwah, he will change you to a low estate. And when he changes you to a low estate, you have to patiently endure because you are the gold going through the fire to get rid of the dross. Yeah. Patiently endure, and in due time, not when you want to, but when he thinks the time is, he will take you out and give you rest and give you peace and give you something better than before. All right?
Yeah.
So the rich of this world now. Let's see why the kingdom is not really for them. And the gospel or the good news is not for them because they are the enemies of the poor. They oppress the poor. Ecclesiasticus 13:2-7, Sirach 13:2-7. Read, please.
Burden not thyself above thy power while thou livest, and have no fellowship with one that is mightier and richer than thyself. For how agree the kettle and the earthen pot together? For if the one be smitten against the other, it shall be broken.
All
That's
right. No fellowship with one that is richer than thyself. Verse 3.
The rich man hath done wrong, and yet he threateneth without. The poor is wronged, and he must entreat also.
All right. So you see, the poor and mighty, the rich man is proud.
Yeah.
Even when he's wrong, he does not apologize, does not repent, does wrong, and he threatens. All right. Even when they abuse the poor must still apologize to them. Verse 4.
If thou be for his profit, he will use thee. But if thou have nothing, he will forsake thee.
We are looking at the nature of the rich. And this is why the kingdom is not for them. If a rich man can find some profit for you, he will use you. But you have nothing, he will forsake you. This CV thing, C virus thing that is upon this earth, this surely shows how the rich man operates. They are giving a stipend over the United States, right?
Yeah.
During the CV thing. Couldn't they have done this before when they were pressuring Americans for taxes? Couldn't they have given people a stipend and eliminated hunger? Yeah?
Yeah, they could have. Yeah.
We see them now giving, what was that, 50,000 tickets to Six Flags Park if you take the vax. Another one is giving you $1 million, giving away $1 million to how many people for going to a raffle to take the vax.
Yeah.
We see all of a sudden the rich people, the richest of the richest, coming out and telling us about taking this thing to make us better, to stop us from getting the sickness. When did these rich people ever care? It is because they have their eyes on the prize. They have their ulterior motives. We are for their profits. So for right now, all they want to do, they will do anything for you to get that thing in your arm. All right? Then when they get that in their arm, they're done with you. You're going to see them forsake these people because all they want them to do is to take this thing and die. Verse 5.
Verse 5. If thou have anything, he will live with thee. Yea, he will make thee bear and will not be sorry for it.
So this is the heights of covetousness, the heights of corruption. This is corruption. That's in the rich people. That's why the gospel is not for them. Verse 6.
If he have need of thee, he will deceive thee and smile upon thee and put thee in hope. He will speak thee fair and say, what wantest thou?
All right, this is the same thing I said about the CV on this earth. Deceiving the people and smiling upon them and putting them in hope.
It is the nature of rich people, bro. That is exactly it. I've had many, many wealthy people in the past in my business life give such promises, empty promises, just so they can have you do their bidding.
Yes. And that is market. That's why they came up with marketing.
Yeah.
As a science.
Yeah.
The art of convincing people to do what they want them to do.
Persuasion, yes.
Yeah, and that included deception. They will tell you lies. Lies, just to get what you to do what they want to do. And as I'm reading this, I'm remembering marketing. That's how it is. Yeah. Just to get you to do what they want you to do. They will deceive you. Verse 7.
And he will shame thee by his meats until he have drawn.
No. Sorry, what's verse 6?
If he have need of thee, he will deceive thee and smile upon thee and put thee in hope, and he will speak thee fair and say, what wantest thou?
Verse 7 now.
And he will shame thee by his meats until he have drawn thee dry twice or thrice. And at the last he will love thee to scorn afterward. When he seeth thee, he will forsake thee and shake his head at thee.
Verse 8.
Beware that thou be not deceived and brought down into thy jollity.
All right, so this is the nature of the rich, which is why you have to beware of them. Verses 17 to 20 now.
What fellowship What fellowship hath the wolf with the lamb? So the sinner with the godly.
Continue.
What agreement is there between the hyena and the dog? And what peace between the rich and the poor?
Both of them can't mix.
Yeah.
So the kingdom has to be for one,
Yeah.
the more righteous one, not the unrighteous one. Verse 19.
As the wild ass is the lion's prey in the wilderness, so the rich eat up the poor.
Oh, you hear that?
Wow.
All right.
Yeah.
Verse 20.
As the proud hate humility, so that the rich abhor the poor.
You see that?
Now that's profound. Yep.
Yes. As the proud hate humility, so doth the rich abhor the poor. That's why the kingdom is not for them, family. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's look at the fate of the rich. Lucas 16, 19 to 31. Lucas 16, 19. Go, please.
There was a certain rich man, which was clothed in purple and fine linen, and fared sumptuously every day. Sorry. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate, full of sores, and desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores. 22, please roll it up. And it came to pass that the beggar died and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. The rich man also died and was buried. And in hell he lifted up his eyes, being in torment, and seeth Abraham afar off, and Lazarus in his bosom. 24. And he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus, that he may dip the tip of his finger in water, and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame.
All right, we got the rich and the poor. Both of them going to Sheol or hell, the place of the dead. All right. And we see the different treatments. The beggar was carried away into Abraham's bosom. That means the beggar was carried away to rest in peace in Sheol. But the rich man was brought into torment. Because if we know about the place of the dead, we know that there's a place where you rest in peace, and there's a place of torment, and also a place for those who died unrighteously. Yeah? So, the rich man still wanted Lazarus to be subservient to him.
Yes, I was going to say that.
Yeah. And cool my tongue, says still wanted him to be his servant.
Yes.
And what did Abraham say? Verse 25.
But Abraham said, Son, remember that thou in thy lifetime receivest thy good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things. But now is comforted, and thou art tormented.
All right. This is very important for the rich also. People living comfortable lives. The Most High switches everything. You live your life comfortable here. That's it for you. You live your life in sorrow, poor, needy, poverty, and remain righteous, then you shall inherit the earth. So now the poor man is comforted, which is the opposite of what he went through, and you are tormented, which is the opposite of what you went through.
Yep.
Verse 26.
I know that one. And beside all this, between us and you, there's a great gulf fixed, so that they which would pass from hence to you cannot, neither can they pass to us that would come from thence.
So the Most High has made it so that there is no mixing or no possibility of anyone going from one place to the next. When your time has come, and what is for you is for you. You cannot escape it. Verse 27.
Then he said, I pray thee therefore, Father, that thou wouldest send him to my father's house.
Continue.
18. For I have 5 brethren, that he may testify unto them, lest they also come into this place of torment.
29.
Abraham saith unto him, they have Moses and the prophets, let them hear.
All right, let them hear them. So the Messiah, this is from the Messiah's mouth. Let them hear Moses. Let them hear the Torah. Verse 30.
Verse 30. And he said, nay, Father Abraham, but if one went unto them from the dead, they will repent.
And this is how it is for most people in this world, isn't it? Somebody come from the dead and tell them they would repent. But guess what? That's the easy way, because that requires no faith.
Yeah.
Our repentance requires faith. We do not have the evidence from the dead, yet still we believe. But if someone was to come from the dead to us and tell us, then that would not be faith. That would be fear. Verse 31.
And he said unto him, if they hear not Moses and the prophets, neither will they be persuaded, though one rose from the dead.
So what is it saying here? If they don't hear Moses and the prophets, neither will they be persuaded. If they are not willing to listen to the Torah and the prophets, if they are not willing to listen to the Old Testament, they will not be persuaded. And what does this remind you of, Shamuel?
If they not be persuaded by though one rose from the dead. Now, I'm not sure what you're thinking. You can share it.
Wait,
If they
that's your
hear
most
not
faith.
Moses and the prophets, neither will they be persuaded. Christianity.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Christianity does not want to hear anything about the Torah. A lot of them don't even want to hear anything about the Old Testament. They just use the Old Testament, pick out a few lines and preach from it.
Because of tithing.
Because of?
Because of tithing. Tithe.
Yes. So they don't want to hear Moses and the prophets, so they will not be persuaded. So when we are preaching to them and speaking to them, if they are not willing to hear the law and the prophets, they will not be persuaded, just like the Sabbath. When we speak to them about the Sabbath, what do they do? What is their main response?
Grace.
Yes, and Jesus is my rest.
My Sabbath.
So they reject Moses and the prophets and find something else to counter it. So they cannot be persuaded when they reject Moses and the prophets, the law and the prophets. So this is a heads up for us when you're speaking to Christians. If you see them not willing to hear the Old Testament, you will not be able to convince them to do anything at all. Lucas 18 to 25. Lucas 18 to 25.
Carry on. You don't know if I'm muted or not. I got to be careful.
Wayne, mute your mic, please. Verse 18.
And a certain ruler asked him, saying, Good master, what shall I do to inherit eternal life?
We all know this one. Continue.
And Yahushua said unto him, Why callest thou me good? None is good, save one, that is Yahuwah.
20.
Thou knowest the commandments. Do not commit adultery. Do not kill. Do not steal. Do not bear false witness. Honor thy father and thy mother.
Continue.
And he said, All these I have kept from my youth up. Now, when Yahushua heard these things, he said unto him, Yet lackest thou one thing. Sell all that thou hast, and distribute unto the poor, and thou shalt have treasure in heaven. And come, follow me.
All right, so this is the thing with the rich now. When the rich is attached to their riches, they cannot be in righteousness. Cannot. So the Messiah knew that this person was attached to his riches, so he told him to sell all he had and give to the poor.
So
no, go ahead.
I was saying, so in other words, any form of attachment, right? If we possess any material, if we have any material possessions and we are so attached to it that we cannot let go or we cannot share, we cannot give freely to the needy when the time arises, then it means that our heart is really not right.
Yes. Yep. It's idolatry, right?
Yeah, it is. It is. It is idolatry. Holding on and cleaving on to things. Yeah, material possessions.
Yeah. All right. Verse 23.
And when he heard this, he was very sorrowful, for he was very rich. Yeah, there we go.
Yep.
And when he saw that he was very sorrowful, how hardly shall they that have riches enter into the kingdom of Yahuwah?
All right. So it didn't say it was impossible, but it said it was very, very unlikely. How hardly? Verse 25.
And this is how hard it means. For it is easier for a camel to go through a needle's eye than for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of Yahuwah.
Yeah. For the same reason displayed by the young man attached to his riches, never want to let it go. Would not want to sell everything and give to the poor.
Yeah.
And have his treasure in heaven, because this is what we do. When we are poor and living in righteousness, we are storing up treasures in heaven, because remember, it's always the other way around. Spiritual things, opposite of natural things. So we store up spiritual blessings in heaven, and at the time of redemption, then that is when we will get our payment. We will be recompensed for what we have done. There is nothing that we have done, no sacrifice that we have made, that we will not get payment for it. Let's remember that.
Yeah.
All right. Revelation 3:14-22. Rich. Speaking about the fate of the rich. Revelation 3:14-22. Read, please.
And unto the angel of the church of the Laodiceans, write, these things saith the Omani. All right, is it right, bro? I don't want to use.
Say the so be it.
All right. These things saith the so be it. The faithful and true witness, the beginning of creation of Yahuwah. I know thy works, that thou art neither cold nor hot. I would thou wet, cold, or hot.
Continue.
So then, because thou art lukewarm and neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth. Because
17.
thou sayest, I am rich, and increase with goods. And
all right, stop there. This is why they are neither cold nor hot. Because they are increasing in riches.
Comfort.
Yeah, and this is why you have the churches. The churches where you have like a middle class people, rich people churches. These churches are lukewarm. Yes? Lukewarm compared to the other churches.
Yeah.
They don't display any fire. As bad as churches, you can see it manifested in the churches themselves. There's usually no fire in the churches of the rich.
Yeah. Very, very modest and very fake fellowship.
Yes.
Everyone is extremely polite.
Yes.
All right. Even handshakes are like, I don't really want to hug. Everything is just not real. They all just fake.
Yeah. So because thou sayest they are rich and increase with goods and have need of nothing. That's what we were saying earlier. If you think that the Most High, you can provide for anything, you cannot be a true believer. Read verse 17, please.
Because thou sayest, I am rich, and increase with goods, and have need of nothing, and knowest not that thou art wretched, and miserable, and poor, and blind, and naked.
All right, all of the negative things, because guess what? They are not storing up for themselves treasures in heaven. They are storing up for themselves treasures on earth, and we know that's not going to benefit them when the time comes in the coming age. That's why they are wretched and miserable and poor and blind and naked and don't know it. Verse 18.
I counsel thee to buy of me gold tried in the fire, that thou mayest be rich, and white raiment, that thou mayest be clothed, and that the shame of thy nakedness do not appear, and anoint thy eyes with eye salve, that thou mayest see.
All right, so I think we're gonna look at this, at how it is good when the rich are brought down low. I don't know if you look at that before. When someone is rich and is brought down low, it's the best thing that could happen to them, but usually to them, it's the worst thing. And so a lot of them contemplate suicide when they are brought down low.
Yeah.
So the Most High is encouraging them to buy of him gold tried in the fire. And we know the gold tried in the fire is the adversity and the problems and everything that comes when we are poor.
Yeah.
All right. Verse 19.
As many as I love, I rebuke and chasten. Be zealous, therefore, and repent.
All right. So those who he loves, he rebukes and chastens, which means he will tear them down to nothing. Verse 20.
Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come in to him and will sup with him, and he with me.
All right. So we can stop there. I said 22. Let me see what's at 22. All right. No, I can stop there. 14 to 22. So we're just saying that the rich should rejoice when they are brought low. Jacob 1, 9 to 11. James 1, 9 to 11. Read, please.
Let a brother of low degree rejoice in that he is exalted, but the rich in that he is made low, because as the flower of the grass, he shall pass away.
All right. So as it is, as the rich is in his richness, he is actually really nothing. He shall just pass away, just like that, because the Most High has no regard for him. The gospel is not for him. The good news of salvation is not for him, because he has enjoyed his good time here on earth. So if he is brought low, he is brought into the company now of those for whom salvation is given. Verse 11.
For the sun is no sooner risen with a burning heat, but it withereth the grass, and the flower thereof falleth, and the grace of the fashion of it perisheth. so also shall the rich man fade away in his ways.
So, as long as a rich man, these rich men remain rich, they are going to fade away. That's why Junabaz did the song, he who only looks for vanity and has no love for humanity shall fade away. That's the rich man fading away. All right?
Yep.
So let us get this straight now. The people of the Most High are in captivity. Remember, we said this at the start. All right, I don't know if we need to get into a couple of the verses. These people are in captivity. Deuteronomy 28:17. Let me just do a couple of them quickly. Deuteronomy 28:17. Read 16 and 17, please.
Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field. Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store.
All right, so we're saying, that's what we're saying, is people today are among the poor and needy relative to the rest of the world. That is why our people have the lowest income brackets, are in the lowest income brackets in the United States and worldwide. We are among the poorest of all people. All right? Our people are scattered under the curses of the Lord. So our people today will not be among the rich and powerful. This is why so few of our people are billionaires, are really among the very rich. All right? Verse 20. Just use a couple of the curses. Verse 20.
Verse 20. Yahuwah shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke, in all that thou settest thine hand unto for to do, until thou be destroyed, and until thou perish quickly, because of the wickedness of thy doings, whereby thou hast forsaken me.
So because our people had forsaken the Most High, these curses are upon us. Whatever we set our hands to do, it won't work. This is what is upon us, why in the end our people will be among the poor and afflicted. Verse 42.
All thy trees and fruit of thy land shall be locusts consumed.
All right, so even when we're planting, our hands will not be blessed. Verse 43.
That's funny, bro. Sorry. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low.
These are the things that we're under, which is why we are not the rich of this earth. All right, this doesn't happen to those people over there in Israel.
Nope.
No stranger comes and gets higher than them.
It's impossible.
They are, as a matter of fact, they are among the highest people in the world because they are the richest people in the world. The Rothschilds, they are from their stock. In the United States, arguably the richest country in the world and most powerful, it has the most billionaires in the world. The richest people in the United States are Jewish. Yeah. This does not pertain to them. So how can they be the people of the book?
Yeah.
Verse
True.
44.
He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail.
No, these banks, aren't these banks owned by these Jewish?
Yes, it is.
Yeah? Right now they are Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead, bro. They own everything.
Right. They are the ones that own everything, and they are the ones who own the big banks, and they are the ones who are lending. Yeah?
Yeah.
So this cannot be them. They are the rich. It is the poor who are his people.
I saw a post a couple of days ago, and people were sharing on their posts, pray for Israel. They say pray for Israel, and I'm like, how can we pray for Israel? I thought when and I shared the exact same remarks you gave to the other lady, the Jewish lady.
Yes.
I'm like, how come that the scripture says when they are gathered, they shall lie and none shall what?
None shall make them afraid.
So why are they scared? Why do we need to pray for them?
Yes.
You know?
Oh boy. This is a big lie until you search the scriptures. The
Bro,
scriptures prove everything. Yeah, go ahead, bro. Yeah, Brother Wayne, go ahead.
As we're talking about those rich folks, yeah, as we're talking about them with the bank, right?
Yeah.
What we see nowadays, we see like a group of black folks trying to own banks too, not realizing that what they're chasing is really debt.
Yes.
Because it is already a fact that those guys are the richest, but they're using it as a defense, like, why are they so rich and we can be rich too?
Yes.
Instead of humble in being poor and sitting more aside, they want to go and open a black bank too.
Yes.
But it is all because of his blindness. They don't understand and know any better.
Yeah.
So now we are seeing all this truth. It is such a legacy for us, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
And we see the wicked will be wasted away. So our people are chasing the opportunity to be wasted away as well.
Exactly.
Be destroyed, yeah.
Yeah. Oh boy. All right. So, in the end, the Most High will be delivering the poor and the afflicted. The deliverance is not for the rich, the deliverance is for the poor and the afflicted. Job 36, 5-15. Hope you have time to go through all of this. Job 36, 5-15. Go ahead, please.
Behold, Allah is mighty, and despiseth not any. He is mighty in strength and wisdom.
Yeah, continue.
He preserveth not the life of the wicked, but giveth right to the poor.
But give it what?
Life, giveth right to the poor.
All right, continue.
He withdraweth not his eyes from the righteous, but with kings are they on the throne. Yea, he doth establish them forever, and they are exalted.
All right, let me tell you something, and I've said this before. Whenever you see in scripture, you see the poor, a verse or two afterwards or before, you are going to see the righteous. When the Bible describes the poor, the scriptures describe the poor, it makes it synonymous with the righteous. Yeah? So the rich is never ever referred to as the righteous, but whenever you see the poor, it makes the same reference to the righteous. Continue.
He withdraweth not his eyes from the righteous, but with kings are they on the throne. Yea, he doth establish them forever, and they are exalted. And if they be bound in fetters, and be bolden in courts of affliction, then he showeth them their work, and their transgressions that they have exceeded.
All right, so it's saying that the poor who are the righteous, if they go into sin, the Most High will show them that they have gone into sin. And let's see what happens after that. Verse 10.
He openeth also their ear to discipline, and commandeth that they return from iniquity.
All right, so he turns them away from their sin, shows them their sin, and opens their ears to hear his discipline. Yeah. So if you are a person in the word and you cannot take correction, and nobody can rebuke you, and nobody can, without you defending and attacking, then something is wrong. He openeth also their ear to discipline, and command that they return from iniquity. Verse 11.
If they obey and serve him, They shall spend their days in prosperity and their years in pleasures.
But if not,
But if they obey not, they shall perish by the sword, and they shall die without knowledge.
all right, so you see the choice.
Yeah.
All right. Verse 13.
But the hypocrites in heart heap up wrath. They cry not when he bindeth them.
All right, the hypocrites in heart, these are the rich. Verse 14.
They die in youth, and their life is among the unclean.
15.
He delivereth the poor in his affliction, and openeth their ears in oppression.
So it's always delivering the poor, always the poor that he delivered. All right, he didn't say deliver the man or deliver the rich. He says he delivered the poor in his affliction. It is when people are at their lowest, that's when he delivers them. So salvation for the poor, salvation for the poor and afflicted, and open their ears in oppression. All right.
Yeah, oppression, yes.
Zephaniah 3:11-13. This is one that we're used to. We use this often as well. Read, please.
In that day shalt thou not be ashamed for all thy doings, wherein thou hast transgressed against me. For then I will take away out of the midst of thee them that rejoice in thy pride, and thou shalt no more be haughty because of my holy mountain.
Verse 12.
I will also leave in the midst of thee an afflicted and poor people, and they shall trust in the name of yahuwah.
Salvation is to an afflicted and poor people. Don't get it twisted. These are they that the gospel is for. Afflicted and poor, but they will be full of faith and patience, and they will trust in the name of Yahuwah. And they will be righteous. Verse 13.
The remnant of Israel shall not do iniquity, nor speak lies, neither shall a deceitful tongue be found in their mouth. For they shall feed and lie down, and none shall make them afraid.
So, if you still speak iniquity, do iniquity, still speak lies, and still have a deceitful tongue, then you know that you have some real roughing up to do to get through this. You have to be changed.
Repent.
Yeah, you're going to be passed through the fire. And I don't mean pass through the fire like idle. I mean, you're going to go through a rough time to change you if you do not want to repent and change. Yeah? So the remnant is a righteous, poor, and afflicted people. Psalm 140, 12-13. Showing that he delivers the poor. Psalm 140, 12-14. Just want our people to see it's not a rich people thing. If you're poor, struggling, going through a tough time, whatever, it is of Yahuwah. Don't worry yourself. Salvation is for the poor and afflicted. Verse 12.
I know that Yahuwah will maintain the cause of the afflicted and the right of the poor.
I remember I always say whenever you see the poor, right after that, which word you're going to see? Which term you're going to see? The
righteous.
All right, so next verse 13.
Surely the righteous shall give thanks unto thy name. The upright shall dwell in thy presence.
Upright, the poor and afflicted. Come on, man. Yeah. Psalm 107, 40-43.
It's without a say, right? The poor, it is easier to be righteous, right? So there is a humbling experience in poverty that leads one to be righteous, to listen to the Most High.
Yes.
Right.
Verse 40.
He poureth contempt upon princes and causeth them to wander in the wilderness where there is no way.
All right. Verse 41.
Yet setteth he the poor on high from affliction, and maketh him families like a flock.
So he brings down those who are high and exalts those who are low, the poor. Verse 42.
Verse 42. The righteous shall see
Stop
it.
there. Remember what you said. Oh boy, some things that you discover in this book, you see. Whenever you see the poor, the very next verse or the verse before, which word what you gonna see?
Righteous, the righteous.
Continue. The righteous.
Yeah, the righteous shall see it and rejoice, and all iniquity shall stop her mouth.
Continue.
Whoso is wise and will observe these things, even they shall understand the loving kindness of yahuwah.
Brings down the high and mighty and the rich and exalts the poor. He delivers the poor and the afflicted people. Tehillim 35:10. This prosperity doctrine, it should have been, people are supposed to realize this by this, that it is garbage. Verse 10.
Verse 10. All my bones shall say, Yahuwah, who is like unto thee, which delivereth the poor from him that is too strong for him. Yea, the poor and the needy from him that spoileth him.
He delivers the poor from him that is too strong. This is what is going to be happening. In the end time, what is going to happen today, we're going to have the beast setting up his system, a whole world system. A system, a nation, an organization made up of all the nations of the world, the New World Order, going under one system. And he's going to have a few saints, a remnant, and he is going to deliver the remnant from these high and mighty people. These people are too strong for us. We cannot fight these people with their nuclear weapons and missiles, etc. We can't fight them. But the Most High is going to deliver us. Just watch and mark my words. From those people who are too strong for us. We're going to see this in our lifetime, right?
Yeah.
All right, Tehillim 72:4. He delivers the poor.
He shall judge the poor of the people. He shall save the children of the needy, and shall break in pieces the oppressor.
That goes without saying. This is a constancy. Is that a right word? This is constant. This is constant. I'm not so good with this English language. This is a constant. Yeah?
Yeah.
Delivering the poor and the needy and putting down the oppressors, the rich oppressors. And we see this happening in this world. The rich people of this world banding together. Rich nations, G7 nations, the beast of seven heads coming together to rule the world. All right?
Yeah.
He's going to save us, the poor of the people and the children of the needy, and he's going to break them into pieces in the day of Yahuwah. Tehillim 72:11-15. No, what was I saying? Tehillim 72. What did I just say? 72:11-15. Oh, I'm at, so all I need to do.
Go down, up, yeah.
Yeah, verse 11.
Yeah. Yea, all kings shall fall down before him. All nations shall serve him.
Continue.
For he shall deliver the needy when he crieth, the poor also, and him that hath no helper.
Continue.
He shall spare the poor and needy, and shall save the souls of the needy.
You see that?
Yeah.
Always saving the poor and needy. That's the salvation for the poor. It's a gospel of the poor and needy, not the gospel of the rich and needy. or the comfortable. Yeah?
Yep.
Not a gospel of the comfortable.
No. It's not for comfort. Those who
Or
seek.
to say, not for the rich and greedy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Verse 13.
Verse 13. He shall spare the poor and needy, and shall save the souls of the needy.
Continue.
He shall redeem their soul from deceit and violence, and precious shall their blood be in his sight. Oh, wow.
You see that?
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't this what's happening in this world today?
Yo, bro, every single second, every single minute is happening all around us.
Yeah. Deceit and violence.
Yeah.
He's going to redeem us from that. Through
Violence.
Messiah Yahusha.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Let me see. Verse 15.
And he shall live, and to him shall be given of the gold of Sheba. Prayer also shall be made for him continually, and daily shall he be praised. Wow.
You see that? It's
Yeah.
always a lifting up. So when we are going through our struggles and when we're going through our poor time here,
Yeah.
there is laid up for us, as the apostle shall say, eyes can see, our ears hear what the Most High has laid up for us, something like that.
Yeah.
And the Messiah said, in my Father's house are many mansions. If it was not so, I would have told you. The riches are not here. We have to understand that this is just a test. This is just a momentary test in time. Eternity awaits. So what we have to do, we have to be willing to ignore this. This is a test. This is a temptation. This is a trial. This is like a school, one big university. Life is one big school, one big university. So to pass the test, we have to be willing to reject. The earth has been given into the hand of the wicked, and Satan has power to give money, riches. We have to be willing to ignore that. We have to be willing to ignore it.
In God we trust. Money.
Yes. So we have to be willing to reject this world, knowing that in the time to come, what we have rejected, we are going to get so much more on it. We have no idea. We're not going to be able to contain what is laid up for us. All right?
Yeah.
So, salvation belongs to the poor. 2 Kings 24:14. Let me see if I can run through this. There's so much. 2 Kings 24:14. Salvation for the poor. Not salvation for the rich. People, deny yourselves and be willing to live in whatever estate the Most High puts you. Don't try to be pushing and exerting how much pressure and sleepless nights and desires to move up in this world. No. Verse 14.
Verse 14. And he carried away all Jerusalem, and all the princes, and all the mighty men of valor, even 10,000 captives, and all the craftsmen and smiths. None remained, save the poorest sort of the people of the land.
You see how the Most High looks out for the poor?
Yeah.
When they were carried away into captivity, into Babylon, the poorest people were left behind. That's how the Most High cares for the poor. Job 5:13-24. Tonya? Huh? Ooh, gotta deal with it. Job 5:13-24. All right. Read it, please.
He taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the froward is carried headlong.
Continue.
They meet with darkness in the daytime and grope in the noonday as in the night.
15.
But he saveth the poor from the sword, from their mouth, and from the hand of the mighty.
Verse 16.
So the poor hath hope, and iniquity stoppeth her mouth.
Oh, you see that?
Yeah.
Saving the poor stops the iniquity. Salvation is for the poor. Don't want our people to be afraid of denying themselves. I did Psalm 72, 1-7, didn't I? So let me go to Psalm 109, 30-31. Psalm 109, 30-31. Read, please.
I will greatly praise Yahuwah with my mouth. Yea, I will praise him among the multitude.
Yeah, let's continue until I tell you.
All right. He shall stand at the right hand of the poor to save him from those that condemn his soul.
You see that again?
Yeah.
Shall stand at the right hand of the poor to save him from those that condemn his soul, which is the rich. Psalms 12, verse 5. I think we did that already, did we? Psalm 12, verse 5. Continue.
Psalm 12, verse 5. The oppression of the poor, for the oppression of the poor, for the sighing of the needy. Now will I arise, saith Yahuwah. I will set him in safety from him that puffeth at him.
All right. So you see, his protection is always for the poor. Why are we afraid to be poor? We are to be afraid to be poor when we are in the world. But when we come into the world, we should not be afraid. Tehillim 14. Tehillim 14, 4-6.
We are scared the world will mock us and tell us what a failure we have become. And that's what
Exactly. Exactly. Verse 4.
Have all the works of iniquity no knowledge, who eat up my people as they eat bread, and call not upon Yahuwah.
Yeah, let's continue on.
Okay, bro. All right. Therefore were they in great fear, for Allah is of the generation of the righteous. Ye have shamed the counsel of the poor, because Yahuwah is his refuge.
Okay, Yahuwah is a refuge of the poor. And notice again, he says, the generation of the righteous, and right after righteous, you see the poor. Yahuwah is his refuge. Yahuwah is the refuge of the poor. The poor is the righteous. Yes?
Yep.
All right, so what you have to understand is that the poor may not achieve their promises in this life.
Yeah.
But because a lot of people are there hoping that and say, oh, he will make me rich and this, but you may not find your riches or may not lift you up in this life. Because we are in captivity and the promises, the great promises are now being laid up for the time to come. Because we know that Esau is the end of this age and Jacob is the coming of the age to come. We know that in the age to come, we will rule nations and we will be ruling this earth. So, just to get an understanding, Hebrews 11, 13-16, that we may not get all the promises in this time. Read, please.
These all died in faith, not having received the promises, but having seen them afar off, and were persuaded of them, and embraced them, and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims of the earth on the earth. Wow.
All right, so here's this. So these are the prophets and the patriarchs and the famous people that we read about. These are the people we read about every single day and get inspiration from their lives. They did not receive the promises, but they saw them afar off and they embraced them And because they embraced them, they confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth. So they were willing to set apart themselves from the earth. They were willing to deny themselves just because of the promises that they saw. And now in our time, the promises are so much closer to us and we refuse to deny ourselves. Verse 14.
For they that say such things declare plainly that they seek a country.
So when you declare that you're a stranger and pilgrim here, what you are actually saying is that, hey, my life is not here. My aim is the kingdom. These riches of this world, they're just temporal, only for a time. Only for a few years, a week, a month, few years, decade, few decades until I die. But I'm looking for an eternal country. Now, verse 15.
Verse 15. And truly, if they had been mindful of that country from whence they came out, they might have had opportunity to have returned.
So they call us, we are called out we are called out of this world now. Because he said, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. So we're called out of this world. If we are mindful of this world, if we care about this world and how we live and the rudiments of this world and school and work and this and that take up and define us, all right? If whatever we do in this world is not because of necessity, then it is possible that this place is going to bind us to it and we might want to return from whence we came. Right, bro?
Yes, yeah.
But verse 16 says,
but now they desire a better country, that is, an heavenly. Wherefore Allah is not ashamed to be called their Allah, for he hath prepared for them a city.
So if you desire a better country, deny yourself. If you are mindful of this place that you're in, you might just be brought back. Or when it's time to move, you will not be able to deny yourself and so be able to follow the Messiah. So you have to decide for yourself, do you desire a better country?
Yeah.
Where are your affections? Are your affections here? Or have you set your affection on heavenly things?
To many, they don't believe. I think that's where the whole issue is with unbelief. And that is what I think Hebrews is talking about. Because, I mean, it's very simple. If you believe, you will live as though you are going into a new city, all right? You will live as though there are promises of heavenly treasures being kept for you, all right? So you will deny self in this current world in order to be able to receive that which is promised in glory. So many do not believe. It's the issue of unbelief. And that's what many Christians, I'm a believer, I'm a believer, but do you want to die for yahuwah? Let me think about that. And that is the issue. So it's unbelief. Many don't believe.
I totally agree with you. Many don't believe. And so they want to partake of no. Here, people say this. All right, don't tell me about so and so and so. I want to enjoy life now. We have been given life now and we have an opportunity to this and all sorts of excuse to deal with things now. Yeah, go ahead.
Also, Brother B, Brother Samuel, definitely it is because of unbelief. And we know the Most High want us to believe, right?
Yeah.
So when it falls down to unbelief, we have to know that the God of this world blinded their hearts so they can't believe. Because it is not the will of the Most High for us to perish in sin, but because of the enemy that blind our heart. We actually walk away from truth many times. We refuse to believe the truth, and so the devil have blinded the eyes and the heart of those who just will not believe.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it goes right back to faith and patience.
Yeah.
They don't believe, and they don't have the patience to wait on the time to come. So now they want to partake of everything or their blessings now. Remember the popular Christian thing I said, give it to me now. Was it Kenneth Copeland or something like that?
Yeah, one of the mega pastors.
Yes.
Mega pastors, yeah. Oh, Joel Austin. Yeah, he was there.
And one more small point on that, Brother B.
Yeah.
You know, the Most High is waking up his people as we speak, right?
Yeah.
There are some people right out there now who are still in darkness. Yeah. And the reason why some of them are in darkness is because they can't believe it is them the Most High is really talking to. They are like shocked, like, could this really be me? That is why we have to go out there and speak it so they can understand and more believe that, yes, it is us the Most High is talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So it all goes back to faith. But we will not receive all the promises, but that does not mean that we are not going to get the promises. Because when the Messiah returns, what does it say? The dead in Messiah shall rise. Yeah?
Yeah.
And they shall rise to enjoy the promises.
Yep.
All right? So salvation comes to us in our distress. So being poor, needy, afflicted, that's when salvation comes to us. Shemos 2:23-25. Exodus 2. I smell fish. You wash your hand? 23-25. Read, please.
And it came to pass in process of time that the king of Egypt died, and the children of Israel sighed by reason of the bondage. And they cried, and their cry came up unto Allua by reason of the bondage. And Allua heard their groaning, and Allua remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob. And Allua looked upon the children of Israel, and Allua had respect unto them.
Had respect upon them because they cried because of their bondage, poor, needy, afflicted. And after that, right away, he sent a deliverer for them. All right? Salvation in our distress. Tehillim 136, 23-24.
Man, religion is a stumbling block between Allua and his children. Yeah.
Yes. It's
a huge stumbling block. It's just, who remembers us in our lower state? For his mercy endureth forever.
Yeah, verse 24.
And hath redeemed us from our enemies, for his mercy endureth forever.
So the salvation is not for the rich who remembered us in our low estate. That is why when we are brought to our low estate, we do not complain. Salvation is not for the rich. Baruch 4, 6-7. Read, please.
Ye were sold to the nations, not for your destruction, but because ye moved Allua to wrath, ye were delivered unto the enemies.
Verse 7.
For ye provoked him that made you by sacrificing unto devils and not to Allua.
Oh, this is the wrong one. Wrong verse, sorry. Don't know which one I wanted. Let me see, verse 18. Let me try verse 18. Verse 18.
Verse 18. For he that brought these plagues upon you will deliver you from the hands of your enemies.
That's what we are looking for. Deliverance as the children of Israel. Same one who brought us into this is the same one who will be delivering us out. Verse 27.
Be of good comfort, O my children, and cry unto Allure, for ye shall be remembered of him that brought these things upon you.
All right, for the end time deliverance. This time he will remember us in our afflictions. Verse 28.
For as it was your mind to go astray from Allure, so, being returned, seek him 10 times more.
All right, that's what we should be doing, seeking him diligently, denying ourselves, following the Messiah. Verse 29.
Verse 29. For he that hath brought these plagues upon you shall bring you everlasting joy with your salvation.
Oh, so in the end, the same people who were plagued, those are the people who will receive salvation. 30.
Take a good heart, O Jerusalem, for he that gave thee that name will comfort thee.
Just continue.
Miserable are they that afflicted thee, and rejoiced at thy fall. Miserable are the cities which thy children served. Miserable is she that received thy sons. For as she rejoiced at thy ruin, and was glad of thy fall, so shall she be grieved for her own desolation.
All right, so what the Most High is going to do is going to recompense all of those who mistreated his people. It's going to be a turnaround. Verse 34.
For I will take away the rejoicing of her great multitude, and her pride shall be turned into mourning. For fire shall come upon her from the everlasting, long to endure, and she shall be inhabited of devils for a great time. O Jerusalem, look about thee toward the east, and behold the joy that cometh unto thee from Allure. Lo, thy sons come, whom thou sentest away. They come gathered together from the east to the west by the word of the Holy One, rejoicing in the glory of Allure.
All right, so same people is scattered, same people he is going to gather. All
Bro,
right?
look at verse 35, bro.
35. Yeah, go ahead.
It says, for fire shall come upon her from the everlasting, long to endure, and she shall be inhabited of devils for a great time. Isn't it the synagogue of Satan?
It's Babylon.
Babylon, okay. All right, okay.
Yeah, Babylon shall be the whole inhabited by devils and the whole of every false spirit. Something like that.
All right, okay.
Yeah. And he shall burn her with fire. All right, so we have established, it's a good news of the poor. The only rich that really can find this good news are those who the Most High has made rich. Those who, having been brought low, have learned, and the Most High has brought riches upon them. Yeah?
Yeah.
But it is a salvation for the poor. And so, what we need to establish is that the Most High loves the poor. And the final thing we're going to look at is the onus on us now. And we know throughout Scripture, I shouldn't even need to have to post. Almost everything on Scripture is about us not forsaking the poor. So, even though some of us might be poor, we have to understand that we absolutely must help the poor. Must. Matthew 25, 35, 34. We absolutely must help the poor. Our salvation depends on it. There's so many things that our salvation depends on. It's a walk of perfection. These people say, oh, it's Jesus and nothing. Yeah, right. You think you can just say you believe in Jesus and then your works do not show or manifest that you believe in a Messiah? Read from verse 34, please.
Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, Come, ye blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was an hungered, and ye gave me meat. I was thirsty, and ye gave me drink. I was a stranger, and ye took me in.
All right, so here's the Messiah now. They're showing that our salvation is going to be dependent on how we treated the poor. Because it is the poor that is hungry. It is the poor that will be thirsty. It is the poor that is a stranger. And he went on naked and sick, etc. and in prison. All of these attributes are for the poor. So, verse 36.
Naked, and ye clothed me. I was sick, and ye visited me. I was in prison, and ye came unto me. Then
All
shall
right.
the
Go
answer
ahead.
him, saying, Master, when saw we thee an hungered, and fed thee, or thirsty, and gave thee drink? When saw we thee a stranger, and took thee in, or naked, and clothed thee? Or when saw we thee sick, or in prison, and came unto thee? And the king shall answer and say unto them, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these my brethren, ye have done it unto me.
So because of you were saying something?
Is he referring to his brethren, Israel?
Yeah.
All right, okay.
So how we deal with our brethren, how we deal with the poor among us, that's going to determine whether or not we enter the kingdom. Because when we go down to verse 46, it tells us what will happen to those who did not help the hungry, clothe the naked, feed, help those in prison, etc. Those who did the opposite, verse 46 says,
And these shall go away into everlasting punishment, but the righteous into life eternal.
you see that? How we treat the poor will determine how we end up. Psalm 41, 1-3. Very important encouragements of dealing with the poor. Read, please.
To the chief musician, a psalm of David. Blessed is he that considereth the poor. Yahuwah will deliver him in time of trouble.
You see that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And we know a time of trouble is coming up on the earth.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why I was speaking the other day in our group meeting. I was talking about giving. The importance of giving. When you're giving, it's like you are making a payment into a bank. You are investing so that when the time of trouble comes, you can get back your investment. That's how it works.
Brother B,
Yes, bro.
I guess that is what we are seeing with these mega churches. They are picking and choosing what they want, believing that it will help them. Because you see, they give a lot sometimes. So they are using those to look like they're doing everything that is right. You know, but it is just so funny that they think that way.
But bro, what you're saying is very true, Brother Wayne, because it also what they are doing that they do not realize or know is that the brethren of the Messiah, Mashiach Yahusha, are in the church, and they refuse to tell them the truth so they know who they are in order to receive their sonship and their salvation. All right, in order to walk uprightly. So all of these things, they are doing it deliberately in order to keep these sons and daughters, destroyed, to perish.
Yep.
So it's very dangerous. Yeah.
And therefore, when you go and look in scripture and see how it encourage giving, they are trying to match up themselves. Yes, we are the right one. We are the right one. So follow us,
But there's so much more to it than giving. So giving is just one aspect.
Yeah.
So many things can keep us out. All right, so read from 41 and flow into 42.
To the chief musician, a psalm of David. Blessed is he that considereth the poor. Yahuwah will deliver him in time of trouble. Yahuwah will preserve him and keep him alive, and he shall be blessed upon the earth. and thou wilt not deliver him unto the will of his enemies.
You see that?
Yeah.
These are the blessings that we need at this time. So if any of us is stingy now, you better get that stinginess out of you. Yeah?
Hey, I mean, if we're stingy in this time of walking, I mean, then we are not listening to what the Ruach is saying. Brother Wayne has been talking about deny self. Now is not the time to latch on to greed and being stiff-necked. You know, now is not the
Yes.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, don't see the poor and needy and leave them alone. Don't think of yourself before you think of the poor. Verse 3.
Verse 3, Yahuwah will strengthen him upon the bed of languishing. Thou wilt make all his bed in his sickness.
All right, so a giver, even when he's sick, the Most High will make consideration for it, so he does not suffer.
That's powerful.
Yeah. What did I say? Go to verse 3. Yeah. Psalm 112, verse 9. I think I did this already. Yeah, we did this already, but read it again.
All right. He hath dispersed, he hath given to the poor. His righteousness endureth forever. His horn shall be exalted with honor.
Okay. Must give to the poor. Mishlei 19:7. Proverbs 19:7. Go ahead, please.
All the brethren of the poor do hate him. How much more do his friends go far from him? He pursueth them with words, yet they are wanting to him.
Oh, this is not a right one. No, let me see. 22:9. Yeah, verse 9.
He that hath a bountiful eye shall be blessed, for he giveth of his bread to the poor.
Uh-huh. Oh, who hath a bountiful eye? That the one that has an eye to give bountifully. All right.
Yep.
Giveth your bread to the poor, so you will be blessed bountifully. 22:16. Read, please.
He that oppresseth the poor to increase his riches, and he that giveth to the rich shall surely come to want. Oh, ho, ho. Boom.
Yep. So you see this?
Yeah.
The people, the Christian religion, blesses Israel, and they take their monies and give to Israel.
Yeah.
All sorts of charities are on the plate, and they give to all sorts of rich people. I even see, what was it? World Health Organization asking for donations.
Yep.
And people are actually giving to these wicked people.
And these are the poor people given.
Yes. And he that oppresseth the poor to increase his riches. How many people do this?
The entire Christian church.
Oh boy. Most is not sleeping. 28:27. 28:27. Read, please.
He that giveth unto the poor shall not lack, but he that hideth his eyes shall have many a curse.
Whoa. If you give to the poor, you will not lack. Most I will always make sure you have your provision. But he that hideth his eyes.
Yeah.
These are those of us when we see people coming and we know the people are going to beg us. And we've all been guilty of that. I know this well. We see the people coming and we hide our face from them, hoping that they don't see us because we just know that they're going to beg us. It says, you shall have many a curse. This book here, I'm telling you, these scriptures.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. Matthew 19:21. We're coming to an end soon.
Brother, be real quick there.
Yeah.
As you're giving, what came to me is we can put things to practice, all right? Let's say, for example.
Hello?
And can you hear me now?
Yeah.
If you're able to give something, and let's say you work every day or once a day, whatever the case is, and you're going to work every day, you walk with an extra $10 and say, you know what, in case someone come across, I'll just give this to them. And this can make it easy for us to know that the Most High is speaking to us. Because if you walk with that $10 willingly, and if he sends someone for it, give it to them. If you don't send someone, take it back home. And keep on going on with the same mindset that if he sends someone, I'll just give. Just to practice doing the right thing.
But hear me with that now. I wouldn't do that. Here's my take on that. I believe in giving naturally out of what I have for myself. I believe that we are blessed when we make a sacrifice. So that extra will not be like a sacrifice. It will not be coming out of the money that I have to use. So I believe in giving out of
yeah, bro, what you're saying is true, but you don't know how Yahuwah is going to move you, because say you have about $10 on you, all right, and that is all you have. Then you take out, let's say $5, you meet somebody you need and you take $5 and you give to the person. And in your mind, you know, you have done what Allah expects. Now, in that same instance, in a few hours later, you bump into about 4 or 3 more other people who lack. Now, what happens in that situation? Are you still going to share on that $5 left? Or you're going to
I gotta tell you that sounds like a nice thing, but that never happens. Let me tell you something how the Most High works.
Yeah.
This has been my experience. The Most High gives according to what you have.
Yeah, I think Brother B is frozen.
We lost him now, so you may want to do a little expansion until he gets back.
Yeah, but I mean, as the question that I pose right now, it always happens to me, right? I always meet people over and over as I drive, as you drive, and if you drive a lot, you bump into many people that are in need by standing by the traffic lights or the robots. I don't know what you guys call it on your side, but you often come across many people and say, I could just have, all that I could have would be the $10. Now I'm forced to spread it all across. And it's amazing that after doing that, though I may not have anything on me, by the end of the day, something suddenly comes back to me, you know, and so that's what I'm saying, that, I mean, in giving, we cannot, I guess there's different, I don't know if different levels of faith, but I think, some people just generally have practiced the art of giving and it has become a part of them. So they naturally can give more than others. All right. That's also something, a good trait or character to have. It's a good character to have. To be, I'm sure we would all we would all laugh for the Most High to overly bless us the same way, because it says, do unto others that which you would what? You would want to be done unto you, isn't it? So if you don't want to be cheated, if you don't want to be hurt, you wouldn't go around doing the exact same thing, right? So exactly the same measure that we use on people will be used against us. So what I do is I always exceedingly, sometimes I would give and not care. I'll just give him like, look, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm trusting on yahuwah to be the provider in this instance. So it's a good thing to have. It's a good thing. Brother Wayne, what do you think? Oh, who's there? Oh, Brother Pedro. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you very much for that insight. But what I also have come to know and understand, which is good for us to practice, is sometimes we need to identify the needy, like blind people that stand somewhere in the street corners, begging for something to eat. If we do this, out of what we have, try to give as if there's nobody else that can do this. We are the ones responsible for these people's well-being. That is also very good, meaning that you will go to this person, take him to a grocery store, buy whatever you need, depending on if you can afford that, but whatever they need, enough for that month.
Yeah.
Then you'd have done a good way of life. I've actually seen this working on many occasions. And again, I don't know how you guys are wherever you are. The issue of giving, it has to do really with a gift. If you have that with you, you need to go out to the rural areas. You see, we live in the cities. You go out to the rural areas where you find, that poor person that has nothing, sitting right there, lonely, with nothing, basically nothing to do or even to eat, and deliver things, enough things to them. It may be not for all the whole village, but for one or two, depending on what you can afford, but give enough. Next month, you try and do that. It helps a lot. Then you feel good about it. Not that yahuwah owes us. No, we should. I don't think we should do this. Like trying yahuwah whether it's gonna recompensate or what's gonna give us back. But that we are doing what is our duty. We are doing our duty. When we do that with an open heart, without expecting, I think that's where good faith is. Thank you.
No, Brother Pedro, I mean, what you said is very, very, very profound, very true as well. I don't know how many of us often think about the needy, because we just read it there in Matthew, all right? The Most High talking about when I was poor, what did you do? You were there. When I was hungry, you fed me. When I was naked, you clothed me. I don't know how many deliberately have it on their mind consciously to go out there to do such deliberate acts of good works, because this is what good works is all about. All right. Because we have faith that we do these things. All right. We don't wait for poor people to always come to us. Sometimes we must also grow and mature and start to chase and find poor people. All right. How many people have been to the hospitals? None. How many often people think about that just to visit the hospital to say, I'm just going to go pray with somebody? Because I was once telling a friend that one thing that was set on my heart many years ago was that there are people who are lying in hospitals, all right, that they are the verge of knowing that they are about to die. They know that they are going to die, all right? And in that moment, whoever seems to bring the glare of hope, the light to them in that moment wins them over. So if you have a Muslim approach them in their deathbed, guess what? They are going to, because in that moment when you're about to die, you care about nothing. You just hoping that where you are going, you are actually safe. So anyone who's telling you anything, you would believe in that moment. These are people I think we should reach out to give the candle of hope, to touch, to pray with, to help to be able to transition from this world next to the other. And many of us will be proud knowing that because of you, someone gained salvation in their deathbed. All right. So there are many people that are abandoned in the hospital. These are the people Yahuwah is calling us to, because it says here, he does not forget any works that we do. All right. So if you do good works, he remembers every single one of these works. If you do bad works, you will be repaid exactly to the measure by which the bad and evil works that you are doing. So
You can't go into the hospitals now, can you?
no, you can't. You can't. You can't. I think right now we can't. But maybe if we know people in their homes as well, because many are scared sick at home. You know, if we can find such people as well, I mean, it will be a good place to reach out to them.
And my last point there, brethren, is we need to practice to give enough, as if there's nobody else who can do this. Because usually we give $1. I don't know what you buy with $1. I don't know what you buy there with $1. Here we buy whatever that may not be. But what I'm trying to say is, when we do this, we need to do it right, as if nobody else has this mission. I am the only one. I learned this long ago, and it helps. It heals you. You give as if there's nobody else who can do that. So you give enough. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good one. Oh, what did I miss?
A lot.
Anyway,
we were talking. We were expanding on the scriptures you left about giving. Yeah. That I would. Yeah. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, let me just finish up, because the last should be last scripture we're dealing with. 2 Ezra 2:20-23. This should summarize everything. Go ahead.
Do right to the widow, judge for the fatherless, give to the poor, defend the orphan, clothe the naked, heal the broken and the weak, laugh not a lame man to scorn, defend the maimed, and let the blind man come into the sight of my clearness. Keep the old and young within thy walls. Wheresoever thou findest the dead, take them and bury them, and I will give thee the first place in my resurrection.
All right. You see that?
Yeah, first place.
First place.
Sacrifice.
So, yeah. It's so we show love to others who are afflicted, needy, depressed, rejected, dejected, all sorts of id. It's how we do good to these people that is going to determine our place in the kingdom.
Yeah.
Let's read it again. Let us finish, please. Let's read it through.
All right. Do right to the widow, judge for the fatherless, give to the poor, defend the orphan, clothe the naked, heal the broken and the weak, laugh not the lame man to scorn, defend the maimed, and let the blind man come into the sight of my clearness. Keep the old and the young within thy walls. Wheresoever thou findest the dead, take them and bury them, and I will give thee the first place in my resurrection.
So that's it.
And also to just to make my last point on this one.
Yeah.
When we do all these things, right, in giving, all right, we are just doing our part, you know, being a part of the body, because we obey the Most High, we now becomes His tool, all right.
Yeah.
So we know that nothing will fall from sky and fall in the hand of His people.
Yep.
So He used us. He's the spirit, we are the body. He used us to go and do all these things around. That's Him doing what He said He will do through us. So we have to avail ourselves to Him. And that is why we have to seek to deny ourselves. Because the flesh part of it knows that, hey, if this person keep on doing this, he will be in the kingdom. So the flesh will say, hey, no, not so much, not today, no.
Yes.
So we must deny ourselves totally, because we are just tools used by the Most High.
Yep, that's right. That's right. Yes, so today we looked at the poor and the gospel of salvation, how whether you are rich or poor affects your salvation. I hope we explained how it affects our salvation. And I just like Brother El Pedro to give his final word on this. El Pedro. All right.
Here I am. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes. Poor by choice, so that we may be able to store treasures in heaven. This we need to practice with understanding, because some people, they decide to be poor. Not that they decide, they are poor because of laziness. They become very lazy and then they become very poor. But poor for the kingdom is that no matter what it is that you have, you must be able to share and have your mind, your heart, your consciousness all aligned to the will of Yahuwah. Most of the time, as we read the scriptures, I was actually trying to find what's the definition of poor here. Is the one who doesn't have food? Is the one who doesn't have a car? Or what's going on? But the issue is, poor in spirit also counts a greater deal. Poor in spirit, so that we may be able to do justice that will make us acceptable to Yahuwah. Yes, depressed in mind or circumstances as it is there, the same as 3:5, subject that afflicted, humble, lowly, need, poor. Now, we need not to be professional poor or lazy as per se. We need to be poor in spirit, but needing righteousness, needing to do right.
Mm-hmm.
And when we do this, we are doing the will of our Father. Again, I would say this. When we do good to a fellow person, to a brother, we do not do this as if Yahuwah owes us something. He has already given us a lot. The fact that we have something to give is because we receive from him. Therefore, we are doing our duty. Yahuwah does not owe us anything. So if we do like we are trying to deposit money in a bank, of course we are going to ask of Yahuwah. Remember the day I gave something to Brother Wayne. You remember I did this to Sister Queenie. That is not the case. We are doing what we are called to do, because unto us much is given, so that we can be able, or we should be able, to do his will. Hallelujah.
Yada Yahuwah. All praises. Brother Shamuel.
Yeah, Brother B. Shalom to everybody. I didn't have the chance to say shalom. Trust we all doing well. Quickly, how would any of us feel to find ourselves before the Most High, all right? Just put this analogy, this scenario in your mind. Find ourselves before the Most High and hear him, the creator of everything, right? The Bible says he's holy, he's righteous, he's glorious, he's just. Having this supreme deity stand before you and say, hey, my son, you helped Brother Wayne, you helped Brother Chazak, you did this, you did that, you did this, you touched their lives, you were there. How would you feel hearing all these good things being spoken of you? That you followed and you obeyed his word, even at your own detriment, even to your own detriment, all right? Even to your own poverty, that you gave it all. How would you feel to hear him? You know, sometimes we need to picture this. We really need to be realistic, because we come to Shabbat week after week, all right? And we hear these words, and it is very easy to have it sound like it's what? Like it's just noise. it's very easy to become familiar with the teachings and the words and then start to not take it serious. But I tell you that what is being shared every time, for me personally, right? It has become a time to put it into practice. All right. It's become a time that I'm challenged to show my faith and to show my patience. All right. That everything that I've been taught, that I hold on to and I am a doer of it. All right. So I don't want us to get familiar with every teaching and every word that we continue to hear. It is not easy, all right, to do any of these things. So let's not be unrealistic. It is very hard, but it is what makes this call very fulfilling. That we knew that we gave it all, despite the fact that we know we could have lived comfortably. We still did it. We were battered, we were shattered, we were disgraced, right, by loved ones, by friends, by the world, by family, anyone, to know that we did this all to the glory of the Most High. So I want to encourage everybody, when it comes to these words, be poor by choice, because all the apostles were poor by choice, all right? They decided they were going to be poor because they hearkened to the call. When Yahusha called Peter, he stopped what he was doing and he followed. The same way everyone that was called left everything and they followed. It is not a call, it's a high calling. It is not a normal call. So let us be patient, let us be attentive, let us have humility. You don't do it to me, you don't do it to your brother, you do it to yahuwah. All right, always know that we are accountable to yahuwah. So I will leave it here, Brother B. Thank you very much. Shalom.
All right, bro. Brother Wayne, you gave a last thing, but I want a short summary from you as well.
No, so you want a second last one, okay?
Yeah.
Just to top off to what Brother Samuel and Brother El Pedro is saying. Whenever time we do all these things, let us expect nothing. Expect nothing, because we read about those men, they have faith toward all their lives, expecting nothing. And guess what? They receive nothing even when they die. All right, so that is just to cover the part that Samuel was saying. The next part is, I'm still saying, let's get ready and stay ready. I don't forget about saying deny ourselves. That is also still is. Get ready and stay ready. And just to give an example of that, we should never even feel like we are ready. The whole time we should be busy getting ready. Just picture ourselves going to an exam that lasts for 2 hours. And you go to the exam, do your work, and you're finished like 1 hour and 30 minutes. Still spend that 30 minutes to review those questions to make sure that they are right. So the whole time you're still getting ready, even though you are ready. So when that time comes, you will be well ready, because the real ready will not be until that time. So all of our time is getting ready, being ready. Don't say, yes, I'm here, I'm going to stop. Still getting ready, getting ready, getting ready. Lastly, these last days, listen up, man. Let us stock up on some food. Food. Because I believe that something is going to start to break out not long from now. Let us gather some food and be willing to be anywhere at all the Most High choose for us to be. It doesn't have to be in this nice house or there, wherever. We must be here, accepting being strangers. We are just passing through. So because we are passing through, we will not miss whatever we pass down that lane. We keep on going on, because what? The Most High are prepared a better place for us. A better place. So let's get ready, stay ready. When the call is made, we can say, here I am, Yahuwah. That's it.
All praises. Thank you, brothers, for your contributions. Okay, so it's time for us to, let me see, for say so long from us here at Just a Word. This is Chazak Aliyahu Yasharal coming from Just a Word. I want to thank all the Just a Word family who are here, and want to thank all those persons who will be watching us on YouTube or otherwise, and all those who are listening live on Just a Word Radio at justawordradio.com. And so that is where we are, Just a Word Radio. Where is it? No, the other way. Yeah. It's all opposite, so I can't see it. Just a Word Radio on the side, justawordradio.com. That is where we are, our 24/7 radio station. All right. Where we have our teachings and great music, great teachings from the brothers who are here. And I am on at 7 a.m. Central, which is 8 a.m. Eastern, until 12 p.m. Central, which is 1 p.m. Central, Eastern, 1 p.m. Eastern, every second to 6 days, which is what they call Mondays to Fridays. All right. And there you can learn more and keep up to us. So please spread the good news. Share this video, share justawordradio.com. And yeah, thank you for watching. All right. So until next time, like, share, comment, subscribe. Where's the button there? Oh, up there. Yeah. There. Subscribe, like, share, comment. All right. And until next time, shalom. There are many more videos, of course, that you can watch on Just a Word. Just
Oh, all right. I think Brother Kazak just froze there. He should be back in a minute to sum it up. All right. I think Brother Kazak just.
whoa. I just had 4 more words to say before I closed. And I got cut off before the 4 words. All right. So internet keeps bugging out, but yeah. Shalom, everyone, from Just a Word. Shalom.
Shalom.
All right. What?
There's some people in the chat asking how can I donate to your ministry
Oh.
in the YouTube chat.